Playing small doesn't equate to leadership. If you're here to lead, you're here to play big. Tune into this edition of Thursday's Thought, where I dive into your habit of playing small. In this episode, you'll learn the 2 reasons why we play small, why playing small is a habit, and 4 steps to kill your habit of playing small. If you're seeking a coach and mentor to help you activate your voice and unleash your mission, I invite you to apply to work with me today. You can do so at www.rubyfremon.com/let's talk. That link and more will be in the show notes. Now, whether you're new to this podcast or you're a loyal thought leader, please make sure you take a moment to download a few episodes and drop a rating and review on iTunes. Now, it is time to learn how to kill your habit of playing small in this edition of Thursday's Thought. Hey, thought leaders, welcome to another edition of Thursday's Thought on today's Thought Leader. And today I want to talk about a question that I get asked a lot on social media and from my clients. And it is, how do I stop my habit of playing small? So today's episode is all about killing your habit of playing small. Let me start off by saying that this in itself is a process. And I'm going to go through the process with you today. You're going to walk away from this episode with a plan to help you kill your habit of playing small. But what I need you to understand is this is a process. So if we're good with that, let's keep going. So playing small doesn't equate to leadership. And if you're listening to this podcast, I'm going with the assumption that you believe you're here to be a leader. So playing small doesn't equate to leadership. If you're here to lead, you're here to play big, period. No ifs, ands, or buts. No settling for playing small. You're here to play big. And you're here to play a bigger fucking game than those who are not here to lead. Now, playing small isn't getting you what you want. And if you recognize that you're playing small, you probably also recognize that it's not getting you what you want. Playing small is killing your purpose. Playing small is keeping you and your mission from reaching the masses. Playing small is keeping your message from being heard and felt by those who need it. Playing small is keeping you from doing what you know you're here to do. And it's keeping you from being who you know you're here to be. So why the fuck are you playing small? It's a pretty good question, right? We can catch ourselves playing small quite often, but what we fail to ask ourselves is why? Why am I playing small? Maybe you're not showing up online the way in which you want to show up. Maybe you have a desire to do daily videos or even weekly videos, and you have yet to pump out even one. Or maybe you're not showing up consistently on your social media platforms. Maybe you'll post for a day or two and then ghost for a week or so. Maybe you really want to speak on stages, but you're not doing anything to get yourself on those stages. Maybe you really want to write that book, but you're not doing anything to pursue the book. Maybe you really want to create that digital course or program, but you haven't done shit to get started on it. Maybe you're just not putting yourself out there in the way in which you desire. And I know that if you're listening to this, you'll relate to something I just said, or all of it. And it's because you recognize that you're playing small. So let's move on to that better question, like why? Why do we play small? So there are 2 reasons why we play small. And it's really important for you to understand these reasons because it's hard to change things when we don't understand why we're doing them. You need to get to the root cause. You need to understand what is actually triggering you to show up in this way. What is the reason behind you showing up in this way online, showing up in a small way, playing small with your mission, with your purpose, with your brand, with your messaging? So the 2 reasons why we play small is, number 1 is fear, and number 2 is worth. So fear, if you're playing small due to fear, the fear that is most likely circulating your mind is your fear of judgment, your fear of being seen as an imposter, your fear of letting people down or letting yourself down, or a fear of failure. Think about this. Is there a fear, one of the ones that I just mentioned, that is keeping you from playing in a bigger way? And the reason why these fears have such an impact on us is because these specific fears that I just mentioned, fear of judgment, fear of feeling like an imposter, fear of letting people down or yourself down, fear of failure, these fears rub up against your basic human needs. And the needs that it rubs up against is your need to belong and your need to feel safe. So if you fear failure, that's going to rub up against your need to feel safe, right? Failure can equate to a lack of safety, or letting people down or letting yourself down. That can also equate to a lack of safety or to even a sense of belonging. Fear of judgment or fear of feeling like an imposter, that's going to rub up against your need to belong. Your need to belong to society, to family, to a group of people. Your need to just feel like you belong. And so these fears, because you continue to feed them, you're allowing them to stand between you and the bigger actions that you want to take. Now, the second reason why we play small is worth. And we hear a lot about self-worth. And it's because, in my opinion, it's the root of all our bullshit. It's the limiting root cause for all our bullshit. It's what stems all of our limiting beliefs, all our fears, is the sense of worthiness. So if you struggle with your worth, that means that you're feeling unworthy of things like success or feeling unworthy of being visible. And if you feel unworthy of success or you feel unworthy of being visible, then of course you're not going to show up and play big. Of course you're not going to show up in bigger ways for your mission or for your purpose. And of course you're not going to post those videos or share those posts every day, because you don't feel worthy of the success that could follow. You don't feel worthy enough to be visible. So I want you right now to just think about why you continue to play small. What are the reasons behind your choice? Okay, it's a choice. It's an unconscious choice to play small. Is it a fear of judgment, a fear of being seen as an imposter, a fear of failure, a fear of letting people down or yourself down? Is it your sense of worth, feeling unworthy of success, feeling unworthy of being visible, being seen? Identify what that is, because that's going to help you shift your behavior and shift your pattern into one that has you playing big. So let me share a few stories with you. I had this one client who, just before working with me, had recently come out to her family. And that was a big move for her because she comes from a religious background that would actually shun people in the LGBTQ community. It's a very traditional religious background, and she came out. And that stemmed this almost like an avalanche of desire for her to start showing up in a bigger way for herself. And so we started working together, and she was working with the government at the time, and she didn't know what her mission was. All she knew was sharing that she was bisexual to her family came with a bunch of repercussions. And she wanted to learn how to deal with them. She wanted to learn how to navigate through them. She wanted to learn how to heal herself. And through our work together, she started to heal herself. She started to work on her worthiness issues. She started to work on her fear. right? She had a big fear of letting people down or of people leaving her. So again, disrupting that need for belonging. And as she began to work through these fears and through her worthiness issues, her purpose came to the light. Her purpose became very clear, and her purpose was to become a voice for the LGBT community in minority cultures and religions and backgrounds. And because of all this work that she did on her worth, because of all this work that she did around her fears, because of her constant dedication to stepping outside her comfort zone and stretching herself beyond her perceived limitations, she stepped into her role as a leader for the LGBT community of this minority faith. And she did so in such a big way. I mean, just months after working together, she acquired her first major speaking gig in front of a room full of hundreds of students. She's been featured on the covers of multiple newspapers, had her work published in other blogs, has a really fantastic weekly Facebook Live show. I mean, she's been showing up and playing big because she's developed this new habit of doing so. And it's because of the work that she put into herself around her fears and her sense of worth. Now, the other story I want to share is my own. You know, when I started this career as a coach and speaker, I knew what the vision was, and I had the desire. I've always had the desire to support people, to help people in finding their voice. What I didn't have was the practice of like really leaning into my edge. And by edge, I mean leaning into my fears and leaning into my worthiness issues. You see, I didn't feel worthy of being seen. And I had such a deep-rooted fear of judgment and of letting people down or feeling misunderstood because of my backstory, because of my history with my family, of feeling like I've been judged my entire life. And so to put myself out there in such a way on social media felt really fucking scary to me. And so I played small. You know, I had a YouTube channel, and I remember doing these scripts for my YouTube channel and being really passive in the ways in which I was showing up on my videos. And if you don't believe me, go ahead to my YouTube channel, go all the way back to my very, very first video ever. I think it's called Welcome to My Self-Love Journey. And watch that, and then watch my most recent videos. There's a massive, massive difference in how I'm showing up in those videos, because during that time, over the past 5 years or so, I've created this huge shift from playing small to playing big. And it's because of my work around my fears and my work around my worthiness issues, and also cultivating this habit of like really leaning outside of my comfort zone and pushing myself and doing so day in and day out, because I understand that this is really a process. It's a process of me showing up in ways that don't feel quote unquote natural. And the reason why playing small feels more natural to us is because we've developed the habit of doing so. Again, and this is why I call this killing your habit of playing small, because it's a fucking habit. You weren't born to play small. You were born into this world free and totally connected to yourself, and then life happens. And you get the projections of your parents, of society, of your teachers, of all this shit, and you start to constrict yourself. You start to confine yourself to the quote unquote norms of society. You start to play small due to your fears. So playing small is not at all who you're here to be. You're here to play a bigger fucking game. So now that you understand why we play small, I'm going to share with you 4 steps to kill your habit of playing small. Okay, so listen up. Step number 1, identify all the ways in which you're playing small. I've said this time and time again, you cannot change what you refuse to face. So you've got to acknowledge all the different ways in which you're playing small. Are you playing small when it comes to creating video content? Are you playing small when it comes to writing that book or doing that podcast or showing up online? Identify all the ways in which you're playing small. Step number 2 is ask yourself what it would look like to play big instead. So if you weren't avoiding everything you need to do to write that book, what would you be doing instead? What would play big with your book? What would that look like? Or what would it look like to play big with getting those speaking engagements? Or what would it look like to play big when it comes to video content? Step number 3 is identify your playing big actionable items, right? So in step number 2, you ask yourself, what would it look like to play big instead? So it's kind of like a little mini vision. And in step number 3, you're going to identify the actual actionable items, the playing big actionable items. So if it's, for example, video content, well, the playing big actionable items would be to create a fucking video every single day. If that's what you wanted to do, okay, let me rewind right there. When it comes to creating video content, if you consider daily videos to be your goal for playing big, then step number 3, your playing big actionable items would be to create a video every single day. And you can break that down even, okay? So have a video content idea list, break down each video into 3 main talking points, and then record the video and then publish the video. Boom. So of course, step number 4 is going to be play big, which I mean, take action, right? So how to kill your habit of playing small. Step number 1 is identify all the ways in which you're playing small. So every single fucking way that you're playing small, identify it, because you cannot change what you're not willing to confront or face. Step number 2 is ask yourself what it would look like to play big instead. For each of those ways that you were playing small, I ask yourself, what would it look like to play big instead? And describe what that would look like. And then step number 3, identify your playing big actionable items. So break it down into actual actionable items, so you know what it is that you need to do. And then step number 4 is just fucking do it. Play big. Take those actions. Your inner critic is going to continue to dish out fears. Your inner critic's going to continue to tell you that you're not worthy of success or of being visible. But now that you have become aware of all the ways in which you're playing small, and you're also aware of what you want to create instead, it's going to be so much easier for you to use that as motivation to move towards what you want, which is to play big. Like I said at the beginning, this is a process. This is going to take you stepping outside your comfort zone, stepping outside of what you have deemed to be normal. It's about stretching yourself beyond your perceived limitations, okay? Because the limitations are just perceived. They're not real. It's about you being willing to do whatever the fuck it takes to kill this habit of playing small so you can step into your new habit of playing big. And yes, both of these things happen simultaneously. You can't just wait for your habit of playing small to die. You have to play big, take big action items in order to kill the habit of playing small. So the more you start to lean into playing big, the more you'll start to kill this habit of playing small. And let me tell you from my personal experience, it is more than possible to shift from playing small to playing big. And the more you start to play big, the more you start to crave it, the more you start to understand what you're actually capable of. And when you know and understand what you're capable of, you're not going to fucking settle for playing small. Just like you'll never know what you're capable of doing or being or achieving if you confine yourself to playing small. Now, if you are a purpose-driven leader and entrepreneur, and you still find yourself struggling, even after all this, even after applying my 4 steps, you still find yourself struggling with playing small, then I would question your desire to do what you're here to do. I would question your commitment to do what you're here to do. Because if you are truly committed to leading your mission, if you're truly committed to building your business, if you're truly committed to being a leader, then you're not going to let this shit stand in between you and what you want. And if you need a reminder of that, go back to episode 85, titled The Unsexy Side of Leadership with Alexi Panos, and just listen to that episode. Playing small doesn't equate to leadership. If you're here to lead, you're here to play big. If you dig this episode, please share it with a friend, share it on social media, and make sure on iTunes you download a few episodes and then drop a rating and review. This will help me get into the charts, and we all want that to happen, right? Because we want to start a ripple effect of leaders in our world. So do that. Download a few episodes, drop a rating and review on iTunes. And thank you so much for joining me for another edition of Thursday's Thought on Today's Thought Leader, where I'm challenging you to rise up, speak up, and create a movement. If you're ready to gain visibility and play a bigger game when it comes to your mission, and you're seeking a coach and mentor to support you in making that happen, apply to work with me today. Just go to rubyfremon.com/let's talk and fill out the application. If you have any questions or you just want to say hi, please reach out to me on social media. My handle is @IamRuby. And check back on Monday for a brand new episode of Today's Thought Leader.